Corey, I guess you've been a little bit busy these days, but at least the men have not gotten in the way of furthering your scheduling.
Yeah. Yeah, men are done. The Iowa men are done. And about an hour ago, I got confirmation. There were some reports. I know Jeff Goodman reported it, but Iowa senior guard Tony Perkins, who has 1 year of eligibility remaining, we just had his uncle Frank on for post-game coverage on Sunday. He has entered the portal. So 14 point per game scorer. I know some people want to act like, because a guy struggles in a couple of games that he's, isn't worth a darn. But that's a big loss, and I don't know how Iowa basketball recovers from it, other than trying to go to the portal. But I guess we can talk about that. I can talk about that on my show. As it relates to the Iowa women, they're going on to the Sweet 16. We know that. Battled through a very physical and defensive-minded West Virginia Mountaineers squad last night. So it'll be Iowa, Colorado, really good matchup. I think another team that provides some matchup problems. So Iowa will have to play well to win. And so we'll see where we are here in a week from now. But still got basketball ahead of us. And Kirk Ferentz met with the media today. I was not there in person. I know we've got Tom Kakert going to be jumping on with us, providing some insight here in a little bit. I did get a chance to listen to at least part of that press conference, and I'll go back later and catch the rest of it. But nothing really surprising that I heard. I know some people are making a big deal out of Deacon Hill being listed right behind Cade McNamara. McNamara is not even really, he can't even move. Kirk basically confirmed that. He's basically able to throw standing still, and that's about it. He won't be full speed until the summer. And hopefully that means, I think the month was tossed out there of June. So hopefully that gives him plenty of time to get his feet back under him before the start of fall camp in August. But I mean, that doesn't discourage. I mean, do I think that Marco is going to get his fair shake in the spring? I have no idea. I think Marco Lainez deserves to get a lot more snaps with the ones than he probably did during bowl prep. I don't know exactly what he got during prep, but from what we saw on the field during the Citrus Bowl, he obviously didn't get much. And it took a lot for him to even see the field. So hopefully Tim Lester, is a recipe for change. And I know Kirk made the comment, I tweeted it out, and it was kind of it's kind of one of those quotes that I thought was a really good quote, but I don't know how much substance there really is behind it. Hopefully there is a lot of substance, but he made the comment today about Tim Lester. He said, and I quote, "We're taking his playbook and running with it." To me, that's noteworthy that he said that. Not that Kirk has a playbook. Like, we have to realize that he's not an offensive play caller, but there is that stigma, that narrative with a lot of fans that believe that this has always been Kirk's offense. Philosophy wise, yeah, sure. But based on what he said today, they're acclimating. They're going through the process of acclimating themselves with a playbook from a bit of a foreigner in Tim Lester. So hopefully that pays dividends. That's what we all want.
I could be sarcastic and say we're going to run with Tim Lester's playbook once we rip out all the gadget plays and the creativity and all the pass plays out of the offense. No, we're going to run with Tim Lester's offense. I like that. Kirk made a comment early in the news conference, and I had only gotten started on it. Thanks to you. You had alerted me to the fact that there was one. I should be checking my inbox because I do get those notifications from the University of Iowa. But, he just pointed out early in the news conference that there's a much different learning curve and just a much different situation for the defensive players than the offensive players, that this is obviously what he considers to be a relaxed time. There's no pressure to perform to a certain extent because they want just to see that individual development working on your techniques. But for the defense, they're working through a defense that's been in place for 25 years. For the offense, it's a whole new deal, new terminology, probably new plays, new concepts, all of that. And that should get people excited. That should get the players on the offensive side excited.
Yeah, hopefully. As I say, hopefully, fingers crossed, new plays, new concepts offensively. And they are a lot younger. I mean, we know that on offense. They're just a lot younger. You lose some experienced guys like Eric All. He obviously he might have been their best offensive player before he got hurt last year. And, they lose Nico Ragaini, who I know wasn't real productive as a receiver, but he was a veteran. They just have a lot of unprovens. You trust what they're going to do at tight end. I know we went through some position previews, including tight end position, but with a new OC, with a new playbook, potentially, theoretically, once again, there's a lot of unknowns with the offense. And we can talk as much as we want about, well, the defense just happens to be older and more experienced. There's a reason why they're able to retain players to a higher volume and extent on offense than they are on defense, right? Like the receivers transfer out because they're either not being used or they're not playing enough or, whatever.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, just as much ire as there is over Deacon Hill being listed second on the depth chart, I do get it. I think we can get it because Marco Lioness hasn't shown anything, and Kirk's going to be that guy that is going to stay in order until something drastically changes.
Yep.
Well, it's just like when we have conversations and on our basketball shows, and Gary Close says it's not as important who starts; it's more important who's playing the most minutes. So
100%.
I don't care what the depth chart looks like right now either. I'm not disappointed in Kirk because Marco's not at the top of the depth chart. But hopefully during these all-important reps over the next couple of weeks, Marco is getting, like Tom said, at least equal time against equal competition.
I'll say this too, and I talked to there are several people who are at the coaches clinic who watched practice this past weekend, and people that I've talked to who are coaches at the high school level who were watching practice. And I have yet to find a person who said Marco Lainez was better than Deacon Hill on Saturday in the practices. Every one of them said that Deacon was still the better option. So, take that for what it's worth.
That's what this period's for, right? We're 3 practices in. You've got.
I know that's not what people want to hear. I get it, but I'm just telling you what people say.
But that's what this period's for, and that's Tim's job, right? To get to figure out raw potential and develop that over.
I do think they will benefit from better quarterback coaching, and talking to a few of the players, just kind of randomly in the last couple days, they really like the offense, the new offense. There's more movement in it, and they like that. And seems like the running backs might catch footballs a little bit more often in this offense too. So that might be something to watch. So I think they like what the offense can do. Now it's putting it into practice and putting it into something on the field to make it work there, as opposed to a theoretical thing in a playbook that you really like. You got to see it out there, but I think I think Tim Lester is going to be a really good fit for Iowa. He's a different fit than Brian. You need a guy who's kind of a calming voice at that position and the coaching staff, and we saw it. I mean, one of the last things we saw from Brian was that Big Ten championship game, and seeing him lose his mind on the sidelines, and he did.
I know.
He did, and it's just hard to stay calm. You want your quarterback to be calm and relaxed and comfortable, and that.
And Tom, you were sitting in the row ahead of me in Indy, and let's not forget that happened on a strip sack, right?
Yes.
Where Deacon was stripped. So it's not like he's he got hit. Made a great play, but he got leveled. No, another turnover.
Exactly. It's not like Deacon Hill threw a 45-yard touchdown pass, but they got called for holding,
right?
So he had to bring it back. It was either a disastrous play or a really disastrous play, is what it was.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Tom, thank you for being here. Appreciate you hopping on.
Guys.
We'll get together again here soon.
Yeah, sounds great. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks, Tom. Good stuff. I mean, I know, I think what Tom said is fair about, what he's heard early reports from from practice, but I would think that Tim, raw potential wise, you can't possibly tell me that Marco's ceiling is not exponentially higher than Deacon's. And that starts with the ability to extend plays. We saw that in the bowl game, and I'm not denying that there's probably a lot of work to be done with his arm, but that's why Tim Lester's here. So, you know, we'll see. I'm anxious to see when we get that open practice here in a few weeks,